There we go.
Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and lords of forbidden law to that 6 plus show. I am your host, Tom of 6 plus. I'm here with the lovely 6 plus team. We're going to be talking all things Warhammer 40,000 tonight, and it's the LGT, the London Grand Tournament, is looming this very weekend coming. So we thought, who better to get on as a guest than a past champion, not just of the LGT, but very recently of the World Team Championships as well. This guy wins things. It is the lovely Alexandre Sacco. He is a disembodied voice today. You won't see his face. You've got a picture there to make do with, but we'll just ask him how he's doing. Alex, how are you? You doing well?
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing pretty well. I'm really excited to come for the LGT
Yes.
and looking forward to see everyone from
Yes.
the WTC.
Amazing. Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be good to have you there. And you're still repping the Thousand Suns, right, for that event?
Yep, I'm taking Thousand Sun again. I was preparing with World Eater for a time because when I
Oh,
saw the maps, the map for WTC is really interesting for a perspective of a WTC player because the Crucible of Battle 1 is really open. So a bit difficult to play for World Eater, but the Search and Destroy one is really, really,
yeah.
really closed.
Yeah.
There is almost no angle into your win. And World Eater moves so fast, you can move like 15 or 17 and have a twin charge into the enemy castle. So it's been really good, and I've been playing them for 2 weeks before actually taking it back because the meta doesn't seem to be a lot focuses on Dark Angel. I was thinking a lot of great players gonna take Dark Angel, and most of them didn't in the end because we have Manny on Demon, we have Brian on Orcs, Vic on Sisters, David.
Yeah. There's actually a real mix, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is really mixed. Liam is on CSM, for example, so there is not a lot of Dark Angel, and I could have played World Eater, I think. And I saw also World Eater is pretty cool, and I know Anthony likes them for that. Is you close your game in 1 hour and a half maximum,
Yes.
and for a long event, this is really, really, really nice because Thousand Sun take so much of your mind to play
They
because
do.
you play the whole game,
Yeah.
and you play the end of game unless you crush your opponent, but that shouldn't happen very much because people actually get a lot better in tournament. I play
Yeah.
since the first LGT to this one. I see the player becoming really, really good. We can see that people play a lot of TTS,
Yeah.
and now TTS is gonna do the job like it did for me back in the days.
Mm.
So T-Sun is more like a sweet spot for me. I have more than 300 game on them.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Nice.
so I cannot just waste this training for
Yes.
probably my last big event of the years. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very sensible, man. And it's very interesting to say. I think a few of us have thought, "Oh, World Eaters on these boards." You're right. There's a couple of the missions where you can do some crazy things,
Yep.
but it's just leaning on what you know, isn't it? So we've got some people leaning on what they know, and some people YOLOing this weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see which approach works. I'm going to introduce the rest of our team, do a little promo, and then we're going to get into interviewing you and picking your brain on all sorts of things. Because as we've already seen, there is a ton going on in there, and I'm excited to hear about it. So I'm going to start where I normally like to start with my dear leader, Chris. Chris, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Did I just disconnect, by the way?
You did, yeah. You disappeared into the warp, and then you came back.
So. just suddenly, I had this momentary panic. So I was like, well, if I've disconnected, does that mean everyone's disconnected and the whole show's falling apart? But no, the show must go on.
It was quite stressful because you started making a confused face and then disappeared. So it was like something had happened to you.
Yeah, so my confused face was because I couldn't understand what Alex was saying. It was like breaking up massively. And I'm like,
your connection. Okay.
And none of you were reacting. I was like, what's going on? Like, why aren't you all reacting? Like, I can't hear what he's saying. And then I just vanished. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It must be me. But yeah,
Awesome.
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I've been enjoying my week off. I played quite a lot of Warhammer.
I played about 57 hours of Warhammer.
I played a lot. I've played a lot. Well, because unlike Alex, I am taking something I've not played much of. So I thought I'd make sure I get the reps in.
Been putting the hours in with the reps.
I have been. What I will not have is that I have lost my games because I didn't know what it was doing. So, and I think we've arrived at that point. I'm about 10 games in with it now, so it's good. I've enjoyed it. I played Rob today. It was a classic me and Rob game where I scammed him, so that was fun. We had a very good time, and that's as good a time as any to introduce him, the lovely Rob Kimpton, our true Archon, vying indeed for best Archon in the UK this weekend. Rob, how are you doing?
Yeah, really well. It's this weekend's going to be really fun. I think there's 3 Archons, right in contention for it. So it's going to be a nice little intergame of seeing who can finish the best.
Yeah, so it's you, Darren Chapman, and Paulie, isn't it? I think.
I think George is sitting above us. We might be able to catch him.
Yeah, so it's whether they can catch George. George has had a fantastic year. He actually can't make LGT, which is actually really sad, right? It's a bit sad that he can't. He's not. There's a bit of me that's like, I kind of hope he still does it because he did smash a bunch of events, and that sort of LGT is just worth loads of points. But obviously, several of you in a good position, so fingers crossed. Let's see it. I will not be winning best GSC with one event. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, we're going to just do a little bit of promotion because we are very good at self-promotion, possibly the best. Then we're going to move into our main segment. So as far as things that have been going on, we're obviously still wrapping up on King of the Ping. And as soon as that's done, we will have news for you in the next couple of weeks about our next TTS League. So if you're interested in signing up to that, get involved in the Discord. There'll be all sorts of announcements there. But I'm very happy to say that we've also been running a painting competition for all of you sort of podcast fans and listeners, and that's been going very well. People have been having a lovely time in the community painting challenge in the Discord. It's not actually too late to join in because we're going to sort of do prizes and stuff at the end of October, sort of start of October. So if you'd like to paint a model and get involved in a painting competition, competing against all the 6++ community, you can go to our Discord and get involved in the community painting tab there, and all the instructions are in there for you. But there's some really cool ones. I've been sent some very cool models already. I'm excited to see what everybody else has done. Chris, have we got anything to promote on the video side of things?
Not really. I think it's been going smoothly. If you are going to LGT, or if you just like playing UKTC events, I have today the final episode of You, Me, and the UKTC came out, in which I analysed all the 5 different missions, and that's gone down well. And I think we've got plans to try and tackle GW missions and the WTC missions as well. In time, just to kind of share those around. But no, other than that, it's just things have been ticking on smoothly. Ed released a video today about 10 tips for if you're attending your first ever tournament. Mm-hmm. So like kind of like the more of the basics, just 10 things to be aware of. I think that video is going to go down really well. And in a day or two, we'll be releasing his video about how he decided that Sisters of Battle were the army that was going to win him the LGT this year. After umming about how many heavy intercessors he was going to put in his Black Templar horde, he decided in the end to go for Sisters of Battle and paint the army in a week. So
mad, truly mad undertaking, very befitting.
Absolute mad lad. But Black Templar horde wasn't for him this time.
That's a shame.
But obviously Ed is in, I think he's 3rd or 4th at the moment in the UKTC standings. So if he goes really deep in this and some of the other guys don't, he can definitely still win the number 1, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you can understand why he wants to take a proper swing at that, right? Having had such a good year.
Absolutely. So, but other than that, the event we're running, tickets go live October the 15th. And after LGT, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing more and more information to kind of get everyone interested and, show why you should be spending your hard-earned dosh on our tournament and why our tournament's going to be the best.
Absolutely. I will do a little shout out for Bugwatch as well, because my understanding, if you watch Bugwatch, which is our Tyranid show, you'll know Davey does lots of cool charts and graphics. The Tyranid chat was buzzing this week because, by all accounts, he's done the best graphics they've ever seen. He has hit new heights. So if you want to see some serious, very, very sexy charts about bugs, then that is where you go. All right, let's shout out some people in the chat, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty and interview our champion. Paul Bridge is in the chat, the very best Paul Bridge. Lovely to have you here. Martin Dorr is in. Hi, Martin. B-Mob is in. Connor Nichols is in. Do holler. Let us know what you're up to. Are you painting some models for LGT that you definitely should have already sorted out? Are you sort of plotting your matchups? Are you looking at the maps and realizing you can't deploy or cross the gaps? Let us know. Let us know how you're doing. And finally, do hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please do leave us a comment. All of that support is massively useful. If you want to sign up and become a YouTube member and support us financially that way, that really helps to make all of the content as well. We had a couple of new signups this week. It'd be amazing to get some more, so please do consider that. And finally, if you're interested in getting some coaching, and you don't want to pay big bucks for a French champion who might also be available, we'll get to that in a moment, then you can get involved via the YouTube memberships with us as well. And I want to shout out my pal Adam, who I'd been coaching Wotan for the last few months. When Adam came to me, he wasn't winning games, and Adam has started winning games, and his friends are all very confused and impressed. So I'm delighted for Adam. I'm really happy that he's having a great time with his Wotan right now. Well done, buddy. All right, Martin Dawes says, I finished painting a solid week in advance. Unheard of, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I had the option of just submitting the army I already had painted and ready, and I should have done that, really. But I think this is going to push me over the line with some GSC models I wouldn't have painted otherwise. So that's pretty fun. Okie dokie, right. Champions, winners. Imagine having won the LGT and also winning a WTC. That's pretty damn cool. Alexandre Sacco burst on the scene a couple of years ago, and that was the first I was aware of him in sort of documentation for the LGT, writing for Goonhammer. But tonight we're going to learn a little bit more about him. And we're going to learn a little bit more about French 40k as well, because, off the back of an incredibly successful year, the French have quite a unique 40k system. So it's going to be interesting to hear about how that works as well. If you have questions and you want to learn about French 40k or you want to learn about Alexandre Sacco, bang them in the chat. We'll try and answer them as we go as well. But I'm going to open things up first and invite you, Sacco, to give us the history, the background. Where did you start in 40k? How do we get to the present?
Okay, so for the history, the fun fact is I was playing 40k as a kid, but I was playing like a kid. So I was just buying every model I like, the different army. I don't really care. I was playing to the local club, not even 1k army. So just trying to learn the rule back in 5th edition, I think.
Okay.
Just before the flyers came out. And I stopped to play just before the flyers came out. And then I played a bit of War Machine and Horde, but just a bit because I was really bad at this game. And after that, I went to high school and I stopped everything to play video games. So I didn't touch Warhammer until the COVID lockdown, which I came back to my family house. And I had my 2 little brothers that still kept all of my old Warhammer's mini and still painting them where they had free time. So I just took a mini, paint one, so paint a second, paint a third, end of COVID lockdown, go to the local shop, buy an army, and go back to play 40k. This time competitively because it was 10 years after I was a kid. So I was more mature to learn the rule or to do something better. So I start with TOW, actually. So a big different style from what I've developed in competitive. And after that, I play some French local tournament with maximum 30 players, so just a local club in the south of France. And one day I just download TTS, play 1 month, 3 games a day. This was a day.
Wow.
And I remember speaking with a friend. I was playing Harley Quinn back. I was speaking with a friend that didn't know which code I take, and just CSM came out. I told him CSM is good, you should try it. And he told me, no, they are shit. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick CSM and show you they are good. And I play Emperor Children's for 1 month straight, like more than 100 games in 1 month. And I just go to the LGT with Emperor Children, and then the history writes himself. So I was just a nobody coming to the event with my minis that I found cool. I was
so good.
This was not even the best list. I remember speaking with Vic, and even now, he had the perfect list for Emperor Children back in the days. And I remember when I come back in France after that, I just took his list, and I stopped playing mine. So
it's beautiful. I remember them talking about it because you were an unknown, as you say. You were not someone people knew of, right? And so you absolutely killed your way through, and you beat Gaylord, right? I think you beat David Gaylord on your way.
Yeah, and I have a funny fact about that.
Okay.
I was just a nobody that I didn't even know about the ETC ranking or something like that. I was just coming with my friend, and I know there was a French in the room that was a friend of me, and he was like, "Oh, you're playing David Gaylord in my 5th round," and I'm like, "Okay, who is he? Who is this guy?" And he's like, "Okay, he's the top 1 ETC ranking, so with the Tyrannids, best army back in the day." And I remember I had a great game, lot of luck on that, and I could pass through, and I could pass Vic, I could pass Nassim, and I think this is really important because since I didn't know anybody, I just wasn't under pressure all game.
Yeah, I think that's huge, right? You don't let the occasion's not going to get to you because you don't have that sense of expectation in the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I was just playing my games against an opponent with this army, and that's it. And yeah, the history writes himself. This is a pretty cool story, I think, just to play Warhammer in your
It's
room.
magnificent, mate. It's so good. I didn't realize quite how good it was. I knew it was good, but that's a lot better than I thought. If you're like,
it gives hope to everyone.
I'll show my mate that this army is good. I'll play it for a month, and then I'll go and win the biggest event in the UK with it. It's so good. Absolutely fantastic.
It was. Yeah, it was a nice story, and after that, I played a bit in France. Winning the LGT was really nice for me because there is a lot of lesson to take. Because when you come back in France, first you don't realize that you've won such a big event. Also, another fun story when Zach told me, "Okay, get in touch with me for the golden ticket." The first iteration of the golden ticket.
Yeah,
I was like, "What is the golden ticket?" And him had to explain everything to me that I was going to Albuquerque, fully paid by Games Workshop in 1 month and a half. I was like, oh. I didn't know any of it. And it was really cool. And after that, when you come back in France, so many people talk about you, want to see you on the stream, congratulate you. It's really difficult to not get arrogant after that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was really difficult to keep the foot on earth. So I had a lot of time to think, and lucky for me, I did pretty poorly the rest of the French season, and I played really bad. So I had to keep modest and work from the basis again.
Hey, that's good.
Come third in the War Master with Belgium last year. I was playing with Belgium.
Yeah.
And I came up first CSM scorer with a chosen bus. I was the first one to take the chosen Landlord in the WTC. And then I came to this WTC event with the win of Team France. And again, I get into the final of War Master and then fourth.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, it sounds. I think we've seen glimpses of it already, but it sounds like an awful lot of hard work went into it, and in like a short space of time as well, like really condensed effort. So very well done on basically climbing to the top of the game in a matter of years. It's very, very, very impressive. All right, what we're going to do now is we've got a bunch of different questions. So we're going to start getting to know you a little bit better, and we're going to rattle around. And again, if you in the chat have questions for Alex, then please do shout them in. But I'm going to hand over to Chris and Rob and see what they want to know first to start us off. So maybe we have you, Chris. So what question have you got for Sacco?
Yeah, so you obviously mentioned TTS there. Like, what impact do you think playing like so much TTS has had on your kind of like improvement as a player? Because we've got some people who I know during COVID a lot of people got into 40k just from TTS and playing a lot of TTS. Some people have started to dabble. Some people like myself can't use it, but
you can use it. Just
to be fair, guys, I'm using a mouse, right? So I've finally got one. So what improvements do you think playing TTS made to your game?
I'm gonna take an example from Formula One because I'm a fan of Formula One, and there was the old pilot that was only driving the actual car, and there is a new pilot that play on simulator. I mean, they not play, but they drive on a simulator, and you can see not that they are better, but they are more knowledge about the sport, and this is the same for us. TTS is so important because first of all, you don't have a lot of players of your level next to you.
Yeah, that's the big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and if I take example of myself, I'm in Lyon, in France. And speaking of Team France, I'm alone here. I don't say there is no great player in Lyon, but speaking of French WTC team, almost all of them are Parisian or in the south of France. So I'm just alone. So, and even if you live in Paris and you play with the rest of your team, you're going to play against only your local meta and only the local playstyle. So you develop habits against your... For example, when I play often, at least one game a week against Liam, I know perfectly how Liam play, and he know exactly the same about me. So we develop a play that we won't do against another person because we know how he's going to play. And TTS just offers the possibility to play against everyone in the world to see different meta, different playstyle, different approach of the game, and it's not really true on Tyson. I'm searching an example for army. Like, let's say the USA, that is really far apart from France, had a local meta so different from the European meta, because you could see different things between France and Poland, but the core of the team was the same. And you take a look at USA or Canada, and this is so different. And playing on TTS can just help you to develop every aspect of the hobby.
Yeah.
And I think this is really important and mandatory now.
It's the quality of reps, isn't it? And you just every time I play someone good on TTS, you see something done you've not seen done before. And I think that's often in like a pickup game, you're much less likely to see something where you're like, oh, I've literally learned a new approach or technique or something being done very differently. And so it's very, very useful for that. Okay, Rob, perhaps your turn for a question, my man.
I guess you've only been in the hobby a couple of years really competitively, and you've gone from winning the biggest or the second biggest singles event to then just swinging around and going to doubles to teams. What advice would you have for people looking to transition into teams? It's it's a completely different world, I think, but getting some French insight would be great.
Playing solo and team is very different environment, especially because in WTC, the scoring is not the same as a solo tournament. Solo tournament, 1 point is enough to take the win, and in teams, the philosophy is really different, as you need to make differential. You need to take a lot of points for their opponent, or you need to stall back and keep as much as points as possible. So if you do 10-10, basically your match was useless. You can take your match and your opponent match useless. Sometimes it's good because you're playing against the most broken army of the moment, and you do a 10, so this army has no impact. So this is cool. And sometimes you play the most broken army of the game, and you do a 10, and you had no impact. For a long time, I had this discussion with a previous teammate that there is a different philosophy, team and solo, and I don't think the lists are meant to be that much different, because in team you take the 8 most best army in the game for the moment. I think you can do one exception, because you are playing 8-man teams, so you have 7 good solo lists and 1 team list. And with France this year, we took the French Black Templar list, who was the best example of that. Because in solo, this list, even if he wins the War Master in the end, in solo you have a lot of bad matchup. This list cannot pass some match. You can auto-lose on some missions, for example. So I don't think there is a lot of difference in building the list for solo and team, because most of the time my list for the solo is going to be my list for the team, and vice versa. So it's going to be the same. I don't think there is a lot of difference. The difference mostly is the estimation. This is the most difficult part of the team. Because when you play in solo, you play for 1 point and this is enough. When you play for the team, you basically tell your teammate, I want this matchup because I know I'm going to do that on this matchup. And I don't want this matchup because I know I'm going to lose this matchup. And you build your pairing strategy up to your estimation. And if you miss something, like, yes, I got my win. If you want a concrete example of that, my game against Nassim, because I was playing only in France because of France WTC preparation. When there is a WTC preparation, people stop playing against each other. So it's only national country preparation for the list, the tech, something like that. So I played against the French that play the bull green really defensively. So for me, I was winning every match without artillery, because the bull green was playing safe. So I was sure I could put a win against Nassim. And after the first movement phase of Nassim, the game is on live on Glasshammer Gaming, I think.
Yes.
You can see he just puts everything forward, and I know, like 10 minutes in the game, that I'm gonna lose. And the question is how far you react and tell your main coach or captain, if he's non-player, how much point you're gonna get. And I was able, because of the experience, I think, turn 1 without moving anything, I'm gonna get 5 to 7. It's gonna be between these two. And in the end, I got 7 because I was playing second and I did this mistake. So because when you play second in Warhammer 4 now, you get more points. If I was playing first, I would have been a 5 or maybe a 3. But
no. So I was commentating with the Glasshammer guys for that game, and it was literally immediate. Like Nassim moved, and I saw you go and immediately feed back on that. But then obviously dig and deliver. And as you say, I guess being able to adapt in game is really important, isn't it? Because that's something that I saw both you and the Americans were good at this as well. John Lennon was very good at this, kind of updating all the way through. And to have that map on the game and to build that map on the game is probably the most important thing. Because in singles, you just have to scrap to just get there and get enough. But in teams, you're trying to make sure that your team knows the whole way through exactly how the game is going, which requires a lot more control, I guess.
So, out of interest, like you said there, you knew you were going to get between a 5 and a 7. Is that because you've done is that more gut instinct, or is that because you've done all the maths? Like, what's the process? Because when I'm playing in my team stuff, I'll be like, I think it's going to be like an 11 or a 12. Partly because I'm playing Grey Knights, but also partly because it's just like a gut instinct of this game feels like it's going to be, there'll be like a 10-point difference between us. So is that what you're doing, or have you just, even from turn 1, have you extrapolated and gone, oh, this is the primary that we're going to be getting, and I'm going to average out, this is what my secondaries are going to be? Like, what's your process there?
Yeah, I wish I was some kind of genius mathematician, but actually the truth is I'm really, really terrible at math. And I did law in France, for example, because math, I'm so bad at math. When I roll 2d6 shots, sometimes I ask my opponent how much. How much did they make? So I cannot count anything like that. So most of the time, this is just a general feeling. And I have to say, I think I have a pretty good instinct on the game, like general knowledge. I can know, okay, this turn I'm gonna do that. So this thing should die, this thing should survive, but I don't count it. When I play World Eater, this is even more visible. I just think everything. I'm like, okay, this 8 bond should maybe die, but this one should stay alive. And my opponent asks why. I'm like, I feel it. Just a feeling.
It's like Tom. Tom does that.
I am the
same. Does this amount of damage?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a vibes guy. I don't have the numbers, but I can. Over time, you get that kind of feeling, don't you? For like, I feel like this into this gets about right, or not quite, or whatever else. And I feel like that lets me down less than thinking I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and sometimes I see the people rely too much on the math because this is a dice game, and in the end, even if the probability is a lot in favor of yourself, you can still roll a 111 on damage, for example, and you don't kill the thing you should have killed. And if you just commit just enough to kill it, and you don't kill it, in the end, you can take a massive blowback. So I play more like macro approach of the game. And it's way easier for me to play like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question which relates to this French WTC team, right? Obviously, so you guys win the WTC this year, and as someone who was there observing, it was very obvious from the get-go that you guys were really, really up for it. You all played in War Masters and you smashed War Masters. I think you were like 8 of the top 10 or something stupid like that. It was ridiculous. That might be an exaggeration, but it wasn't far off. And then in the event itself, I think you were the team probably above all the others that had the most sense of a kind of camaraderie and community together. You were all like singing and dancing. There were like funny like chants and stuff. You had your food being made there. And the spirit just felt from day one, you could just kind of feel there was something around you guys. So I guess my question is, well, there's twofold really. To what extent did you guys think about and build that community, and how long did it take to build, and what did you do to build it? And B, would you all play War Masters again?
So for the French community, actually, this took a long time, and almost all of the credit should go to the French Federation, the FEC. Okay. Which I'm a vice executive actually, but the people everyone get credit, but if I need to name one person, it's going to be Mathieu Bach, which is the president of the federation, and maybe more than 5 previous year, it took the time to build the community, to get the selection process up. We can talk about that later, but it was just a mess before, and I don't have the exact number, but it was maybe 20 teams playing for the French selection. And now for the French league this year, we have more than 120 teams registered for gonna play for that. Obviously, most of them just play in the local club and don't have the aspiration to get into the first league and the national team. But just to explain the number of people involved in the French community, This is because there is a huge work from every local club is gonna be seen by the French Federation just to ask them if they wanna participate to the French qualifier circuit. So everyone feel inside the team and inside the community. We also have one nice coverage with the French Wargame Studio streamer that was there at the event.
Yeah.
And this guy is doing a massive job for the French WTC team because we have a massive advertisement. They follow every one of your match. And every year, the French community, I'm so thankful to the French community because they give us a lot of money for us to come and play the War Master, the hotel, to play the WTC. And this is a lot of pressure at the same time, but also a nice, how can I say that, power up in your game style because you know you don't play only for yourself, only for your team. You play for the whole French community.
Yeah.
As you can see, you had coach. We had even someone who bring us food, French food.
Yeah. It's like sandwiches getting made. It looks so good.
Yeah, it was really French, to be fair.
Yeah.
The French community took a long time to build, and I can say now the team is built for, I think, for a long time, and everyone knows the rules, everyone wanna participate, and everyone feel involved in the French community. So this is a nice success from the French Federation.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. And will you all play War Masters again, do you think?
Depend because the War Master was in Belgium, and so not so far from me. I don't know where it's gonna be held next year. So depend if it's so too far. I don't think so. But if it's next to France, yes, definitely. Because I just love too much Warhammer. I can play 20 games in the week, and it's okay for me.
Very good. Right, I'll pass it back round to Rob and Chris.
Have you got a good squad coming to LGT? Is there many of your French team coming?
There is my French team, so the no-name team, the team I play with for the French circuit. And speaking of the French WTC team, we are going to be only 3 coming. So Hugo, who was playing Eldar. Johan, who was playing Grey Knight. And myself with Tyson.
Nice.
Awesome. No Templar Horde.
No Templar Horde. Olivier think it's enough for him. Taking both War Master and WTC the same week was already a pretty huge achievement.
Yeah, he'd earned a little break, right?
A lot of the pains you have to roll.
How did you go about analysing the UKTC missions? Obviously, you guys you've been playing a lot of WTC, you don't have UKTC back in France. So, and obviously the missions have changed a lot, etc., over the last year. So, what was your process in terms of, right, I'm going to the LGT, I'm being putting 300 reps in with Thousand Suns. So then you looked at the UKTC missions. What was your process like? What factored into your decision making with your list building? Like when you've been playing the maps, have there been any particular things on any of the missions that you've gone, that's interesting? Because we've got a lot of UK viewers, and everyone's looking for that little edge at the LGT for all of the different missions. So what was your approach to kind of how did you go about analysing the missions, and have you got any top tips for any of the particular missions?
First thing I did was just take a look at the map and put it on TTS, put my army to do deployment to see how it fit. So I just take my WTC list and copy straight to it into UKTC and see how it goes. And for example, I just play with Automutalit for the UKTC because when I play with it on UKTC, I cannot deploy it in a spot that I like. I cannot move in a spot that I like. And also, I think this is on the Search and Destroy mission. You cannot hold the objective top right or top left or bottom right because of the tentacle. You cannot put the base into the objective. So for me, this is really important. And also, as a WTC player, there is a massive difference between the one in charge behind the wall. Because you can charge in WTC and you cannot charge in UKTC. And this is the massive difference. And every time I have the mounts of August of September to just learn back this rule and see the impact of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took the time and just play to analyze the game. For example, I can speak about my list. I have 10 Tsangor in the list because I don't play them for their power to sometimes get a cabal point, because I find this is useless, to be honest.
It is.
And I just play them because, for example, Sisters is one match I don't really like as Tyson. I know they are very popular, they have a lot of things, and most of the objectives are in the open in UKTC. So Tyson cannot hold them pretty well. You have trouble to hold them. So people are just like, take a Mutalit and you will hold them. Which I don't like, because most of the army now can kill a Mutalit without any problem. So what I did was, if I can't hold it, then you cannot hold it too. So I have 20 cultists and 10 Sangor to do that. Because
Nice.
Sangor, when you think about it, move 8 within my aura.
Yeah.
Reroll the advance with the icon or the instrument, I don't know which one. And then they can move another 8. And they are also 2 each. So you can just deny primary. And when you play Tyson the way I play them, not like Liam plays them, I know I'm gonna stay alive until the end of the game, playing for the age and just winning at the end of the game, because I have most of my army alive when my opponent don't. So this is when I get primary, when I get secondary. So I just want to play for the deny.
Yeah. No, that's smart. I know, yeah, with Temporal Surge, you can get around a lot of the usual tricks and traps people lay out for you on that front, right? So it's very easy to keep denying from safety. No, that's very cool. Yeah, so this is sound advice to everybody listening. It's just get out the maps and practice it. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks as well. I was like, just make sure everything has a place, you know, where you want things. And yeah, the UKTC pack at the moment does present very different challenges in different rounds, so it's good to understand. Cool. So I have a question. So you've become very well known as a chaos expert at this point, right? I think it's fair to say you are very well regarded as chaos. I'm curious, which is your favorite chaos army to play and why?
Okay, so my favorite chaos army to play for now in 10 edition is the Tyson.
Okay.
Because Tyson, even if I'm more a melee player, Tyson is just so damn good, so damn fun to play. And every game you do with them, as I told before, I have more than 300 games on them. And every game, not that I learn something, but I'm like, oh, I could have optimized that a bit better. I could have just sequenced that a bit better. I didn't have to commit that much. Even if I knew the thing, and you have so much possibilities. Sometimes there is a feel bad in Warhammer when you play World Eater, which I love, but you take a look at the board, the opponent did a screen, and you have nothing to do just to share the screen. And you use a unit just to share the screen. And I don't like to play my opponent's game. I like my opponent in my game, or at least I want to develop my plan. And Tyson is actually the only one army that can help me to do that. Every turn you can either double doom bolt, you can I know they don't pop up the save anymore, but I still call it like that. This is a -2 IP. Twist of Fate, this is the name of it. You can double move, you can free stratagem, and you have a solution for every problem. Every time. Even the nerf the indirect, this is not a problem. You can double move Magnus and still see the thing. You have an opportunity or possibility of everything, as this is why Tyson is actually the thing, the best chaos army to play. I was pretty disappointed in the Chaos Space Marine Codex, because I was a lover of the 9th edition Chaos Space Marines Codex. You can see the people who write the 9th edition Codex knew actually the lore and the competitive play. Even if some faction was better than the others, this is always the case. There was so deeps in this codex. You could play every detachment.
And the flavor of the CSM Legions was incredible in that book. It was really, really good.
And even if I accept that we lost flavor for the index, because one detachment, okay, the codex feels pretty bad for me, because as you can see, in the end, CSM is competitive because hackers are competitive, and this is it. And this is again an hacker spam, which I hate to play, and I hate to play against. Is competitive, and I'm a bit disappointed about that. Chosen doesn't have the flavor they had before. Same for the Oblitz, same for the Fortune. and there is still units we didn't saw for a long time, like the Raptor, for example. They do basically nothing. So I'm a bit disappointed of this codex. And World Eater are really, really fun to play, but they are a bit too much matchup oriented for me. I know Anthony is doing a real great job on the World Eater, but I also think it's because of the player more than the army. Is for sure the best World Eater player in the world, and there is a massive gap between him being the first and the second, which I don't know, but this is the example. Best World Eater player.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know who else has really been doing particularly well. I mean, they've been very good in Pariah, but not like there's not been anyone who's just been winning and winning and winning.
Yep.
And Anthony understands his good and his bad matchups as well, doesn't he? At the end of the day, that he's incredible in a team's environment because he knows exactly what he needs from them. So yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to hand back over to Chris and Rob. Let's see what they've got.
So you've now analysed all the UKTC missions and maps, so you know them like the back of your hand. If you had to go to a 5-man team event tomorrow, what 5 armies would you take?
I'm going to get my notepad. Hold
on. In order to try and give yourselves the best possible chance of winning.
First, I think I would take Sisters. This is the obvious choice. Sisters is really, really strong.
Yep.
That might be a bit self-centered, but if you have a good Tyson player, you should take Tyson because they are still good. But the codex is not mandatory at all. You should take a Space Marines. Obviously, Dark Angel is the most obvious choice, but a good Blood Angel gonna do the job also. And my boy Hugo is playing Blood Angel for the LGT. Drop the Zelda for the Blood Angel. I think let me take the list of the army to make sure I don't forget anything. Because the meta is so damn mixed for now. This is not an obvious choice to take 5 army. I would take Sisters. I would take Guard. Empire Guard is really good. So as I say, Space Marines, depend of which one you like. Thousand Sun if possible. Otherwise, I really like Warmup into the UKTC layout only. I don't like them that much in WTC. They are really strong. They are nice to be in defender in team. As we speak before, Wotan in solo is okay to win by maximum 10-point differential, but in solo they are pretty good to play on their board and just draw the game.
Yeah.
So I think Wotan is a good choice. And for the end, this is a bit difficult, but I think Accursed Spam might be the end choice just to get a pusher in your team.
Yeah. Those lists are harder to find now, right? The ones that can genuinely get a good differential. They're a lot rarer at this stage.
Yeah. If you take the Blood Angel and the Accursed, you have 2 push, and then you have 3 codex to get back. And even the Guard can push into the end of the good player or the good matchup.
Yeah, very nice. Cool. Okay, well, we'll take those to ITT, Chris. That's
We'll ignore the balanced data slate in between.
Yeah. That won't. I'm sure that won't change anything. Yeah.
No.
Rob, do you have one?
What matchups are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to playing anyone in particular, or are you just here to have a good time? What's your goal for the event?
To be honest, my goal for the event is going 5-0, and we'll see after. This is my mentality for now, because the meta is so damn mixed. This is so difficult to predict. You can lose against everyone. As a Tyson, you can lose against everyone, but also win against everyone. This is the best part of this codex. Every solo tournament, I'm pretty unlucky on the pairing, and I play one huge top player before the shadow round or before the event. First LGT, I got David, round 5. Second LGT, I got Brian, round 4. So no, I don't know, maybe Nassim or Vic or Liam, I don't know. I will see. I wish to have the best run because looking back for 2022 LGT, I had to play David, I had to play Vic, I had to play even Dick from Netherlands. I had to play Nassim. So this was really difficult to get through all of this match, but I'm really proud of myself. And so I speak a lot with Hugo, who didn't play against top player until semi-final. So he was happy to get in semi-final, but he was like, but do I deserve it? Do I deserve to be in semi-final when top players just play against each other?
Yeah.
And not that his opponent were bad or anything, but there is a difference in skill between these two. So he passed more easily than he could have against Brian, Liam, Vic.
And I've listened to top players and their content, and they definitely let you know if you haven't beaten top players on your way on a run. Right? They're very quick to point it out. So I understand wanting to go through them. It sounds like you went through about 5 though, which is maybe too many for one event.
Makes it even more impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh man, that was something I was going to ask you. So obviously, you rep on TTS all the time now, and you've played a ton of international events as well. So you've got a ton of experience. If you were going to list the 3 hardest opponents to play against that you have played against, who would you pick? Who are the 3 toughest opponents you've played against?
The most skillful opponent?
The most difficult, yeah.
Obviously, Liam is gonna be in the top. I actually never play in event. I play him on TTS every week, but he's really hard to play against. He's so damn good at the game, and also he's an opponent that is not easy to read, because even if I have the habit to play against him, he's gonna always do something different, something strength, just to take the upside of the game. So Liam is definitely gonna be in. Nassim, my boy Nassim, is obviously strong, a really strong player.
Good. Yeah.
And actually, I could see the difference between 2022 Nassim and 2024 Nassim.
Oh yeah,
he is like a world different person. He's really, really, really strong at the game.
Yeah.
And for the end, I think Brian, even if on this particular matchup, Tyson against Orc, if I play against him on the LGT, he might not be that hard for Tyson.
Yeah.
Brian is really, really strong at the game also.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian, I think of those 3, Brian is the one whenever I've been playing on, like, I just feel like I'm desperately fighting to get anything in these games sometimes, like anything at all. It's not even like be in the game, it's like to get a point. It feels like an incredibly difficult task sometimes.
Yeah, and something funny with Brian, because he's so gentle at the table, so funny, anything like that, and he's just crush you on the table. This is sometimes you don't know how to take the thing.
Yeah, he's an absolute murderer. No, very, very good. Very good. And I think we were talking about it pre-show, but one other thing we wanted to get you to explain to the listeners was the French international sort of the team system, right? Because you guys have quite a unique way of playing 40k teams in France. So I was very curious if you want to explain to us UK listeners how sort of WTC and Team 40k in France works, because it's on a completely different scale to anything we've seen in other places.
Okay, so this is going to be a bit difficult. So if you don't understand something through the explanation, just cut me and I will explain again. So you need to think of a pyramidal system. So first of all, you get to the bottom and you have the League 3. There is a 6-man team. There is a lot of League 3 for now in France. I don't have even the number of Team 3 League or Team 3 team registered for the league. Each local league gonna get up to 4 to 6 teams. And the best of this 6 team is gonna be in a League 3 playoff to get into a League 2. There is 4 League 2 in France, and the France is divided between 4 quarters to be easy. So north, south, and everything like that. And there is 6 teams of 8-man people in each League 2 for now. At the end of this season, you take the 4 best team of best team of each League 2, so 4 teams in total, going into a playoff for the League 1. For the League 1, in this playoff, you're gonna have the 5th team of the League 1. The League 1 is a 6 team of 8 people. At the end of each season, the 6th team, the bottom team, is gonna be automatically in League 2. The League 2, random League 2. And the 5th team is going to be in the playoff with the best team of each League 2.
Wow.
Okay. At the end, you take the 2 best team of this playoff, and they go into the League 1 for the team. At the end, the 4 best team of the League One, so the one that wasn't relegated or into the playoff, get into the Big Four. That is a French selection tournament that gonna be in October. 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is the event you said is not far away, right? When we were talking about it.
Exactly. And you have in this event the 4 best team of French for now. And at the end of the event, the team who won the event is captain gonna be the French selectioner for the year.
Wow.
So this is
it's a proper slog.
Yeah, it's really French, to be honest.
Yeah.
Huge administration, even in 40K. And if you wanna have a concrete example, Zeka, the French captain, was a member of the PU Alpha team that won the previous Big Four in 2023.
Okay.
October 2023, so he's going to be the selectioner for 2024.
So one question I had, so you've got these different teams competing. Is there sort of season to season, is there much movement of people between teams? Like, how do the teams themselves, are they local? Are they formed online? What rules do those teams have, like the component teams?
You can see different logic between League 3, League 2, and League 1. In League 3, it's mostly people who play against each other and know them for the local club. So it's mostly local club in the same city or in the same small country that play against each other. So they're going to be a local team for the year, because you're going to have one match in between October to January, and the second match between February to May. And
right,
you take the addition of these two. For the League 2, there is some teams that are in the same city, and some teams that want to go into the League 1 that are mostly play on TTS, so they are everywhere in France and just go for one weekend into the tournament and they go back to their place. And for the League 1 team, except I think from the Semi-Croustillant, so the Olivier's team, they are almost all Parisian. Everyone is everywhere around the world. The best mention is the PU Alpha, with one people in Switzerland, one people in Bulgaria, one people I think in London sometime, one people in Madrid. So yeah,
it's amazing. I think it's the single biggest, most organized international system I can think of. So it's very cool that it beat all the others who are probably now going to have to think about how to update themselves. Right, I'm going to chuck it over to Chris and Rob for the last couple of questions, and then we'll go and see what our listeners are wanting to know. Chris, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot now because I like to do that. So you are now going to tell the audience what's the top 8 going to be at LGT. Now, this is up to you. You can either go just for armies, or you can go for player names as well, because obviously you know many of them. But I'm going to write it down, and then we're gonna see how you get on. So, what is the top 8 going to be for LGT?
Oh yeah, use that Thousand Suns magic. Let's have some sorcery.
Let me see if I can see through the future. It's more of an Aldari thing to see through the future.
Yeah, you're right.
I think by the name it's really difficult, because I am the example that random people can get into the top 8 and even top 1. But for sure, I think I can say at least 6 names for people that are gonna be into the top 8. I think Liam is gonna be, Vic should be, Nassim should be in. Actually, David should be in, but I don't know if he's gonna be in. Every time he's one of the strongest players I know, and every time for some reason he just failed before the final step.
Yeah, his LGT is a bit cursed, isn't it? It's not. It's not a happy hunt. David Gaillard.
David Gaillard. So I don't know.
I think this is a good time for him. I think he's done some work for this.
What's he taking?
He's taking guard. He's taking guard.
I think
it's quite his own spin on guard.
I think I'm gonna try to uncurse him, and I'm gonna say David. I would like to say myself too.
Absolutely. Back yourself.
It's 5 already, I think.
That's 5.
You've not said Liam yet, have you?
Yeah, I said Liam first one.
Liam's first one.
Ines is strong right now, and he is doing his thing with his army. but he's doing it really well.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Ines into the top 8. I would like to say my boy Hugo, because he worked a lot for that, and he ended up second last year, so I know he can definitely pull off.
Yes.
Even if he got a WTC that was a bit hard for him, he actually could. I think he's gonna get revenge on his WTC.
Absolutely.
And he's taking a great army for that. He has a good mindset, so he can definitely.
Hugo gave us the best moment of the LGT last time, which was that Way Leaper one-shotting Abaddon. That was amazing. That'll stay with me for a while. Like, the save fails, rerolls the save. You're like, I know what's happening now.
That was, I think, one of the best moments.
So good.
I have to live in 40k.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I'm missing one name, I think.
You are, yeah.
One more name.
I need to take a bit. I would like to say Brian. Because I don't trust in Orc. I trust in Brian, but I don't trust in Orc. But somehow I know Brian can just pull out even small win, like small win, I get into the top 8.
I've played against his list as well, and it's got some things that a lot of Orc lists don't. I'd be interested. I think it'll catch some people out. I think it's quite interesting. But yeah, and you wouldn't want to bet against Brian, right?
Yeah. And to be fair, if the top 8 look like that, this is gonna be final everywhere until the real final. It's gonna be a really strong top cut.
Yeah, that would be wild. So I think we'll let you know exactly how right you were in the future. We'll make sure, and that might be something we can start getting people to do every year before the LGT. That's quite fun. So yeah, very, very, very good. Rob, did you have any other questions before we move it to the podcast questions?
I think I'm there. My only other questions are what should we do against T-Suns, but I don't know if you are.
He's not going to tell you that now. All right, let's have a look at what people in the Discord have been asking then. And just to remind everybody, if you want to hit like and subscribe, that would be amazing. Please do support us, and shout out in the chat if you have any questions for Sacco or any of the rest of us that you want answered. Anything LGT or WTC related, anything France related, whilst we've got a bona fide Frenchman here, would be wonderful. So let's have a look in the Discord and see what people were asking. So we go up. We had someone who asked about staging, which we're going to do. I think we're going to do our own episode centered on. So we'll do that in the future. And we did the Agri-World question last time. But we've got a more theoretical, sort of general question regarding staging, which is the art of positioning to attack somebody. Alex Bloodrender asks, how do you deal with somebody staging their army against you? Now, I actually think a Thousand Suns player is a very good person to answer this. If someone's staging against you, Alex, what do you do?
Okay, as a T-Sun, you have many solutions to play in the staging. There is, for now, in this local meta, 2 types of staging: the staging without a Blood Surge and the staging with a Blood Surge. Because the Accursed is a huge part of the meta, and the staging of the Accursed, even for a T-Sun, is way more problematic than it should be, because I think the Blood Surge should be capped to one time, and not every time you lose a model you move. This is way too strong, but whatever. So to deal with the staging, you need to take a look back at the table and analyze which unit you're gonna let yourself be hit, because you cannot respond to everything. Well, the main mistake sometimes people do is playing really back because they want to avoid getting or get killed, and you let your opponent the whole board control and the board pressure, and he can detect the game. The thing I like as a T-Sun, for example, let's say you have, let's say you play against World Eater. The most easy staging, because no fly, and most of the time no Blood Surge because the Zerk are into the Rhino. I'm gonna move block the unit I'm gonna kill later, so I'm gonna put a screen of cultists in front of it. So I'm gonna move block really fast I can, and not move block the charge, just move block the movement phase. And I'm gonna use a huge movement of T-Sun to pick up 1 or 2 units into the staging, with Magnus moving a lot, with the Crystal teleporting, with the Rhino moving, disembarking, and double moving after the disembark. You have a lot of tricks to do that. Also, you can position yourself pretty well to deal with an Overwatch as a T-Sun. If you put your unit with a Vortex, for example, that is the best unit you can have. You send him with a Rhino, disembark, double move out, then again. So you move the Rhino, you disembark, then you double move the unit again. You can also double move back the Rhino to do that another turn, for example. This is one of the tricks I plan to do.
Yeah, I watched you do this. This completely blew my mind watching one of your earlier WTC games. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, you have so much thing to do, and then you position your vortex unit to deal with the unit behind the ruin, and you actually position yourself to see more unit to deal with an Overwatch. So you send one unit to clean the staging point, and also take a favorable trade. And for the part you cannot deal with, then you put a screen of cultists, a screen of Strangor, or anything else you can do. There is more difficult staging, obviously, like Blood Angel, because of the fly. There is some key thing to do with the fly. Most of the time, people think they cannot move block the fight, but you can indeed move block the fight.
Yes.
You just have to see the back of the unit. You measure 12 from the back of the model, and you position your cultist or your Sangor or anything else. The maximum, so he cannot put behind yourself within one. So we actually move block way more. You gain 1 inch plus 1 inch. You gain almost 3 inches of move block like that. And these 3 inches can be massive because this is spread free on the charge, or you can make one unit unchargeable because of that. Because if you are 9 behind the screen, then you are pretty fine.
Yeah, so it's about blocking where they'd want to land with their movement, isn't it? That's the key thing.
This is exactly the thing, and you need to play a lot on that. And just to deal against staging, the most obvious solution is to be more aggressive than your opponent. Because if you play back, you lose. So you need to go and clean what's behind. And as a Tyson, you can clean even more that's what's behind. You can just push through your whole
I completely agree. I think being very proactive and not letting staging armies do their thing is incredibly effective.
And being proactive this is the best advice, because that works for every army, every playstyle. Everyone should play Warmer in a way to be proactive. If you play melee, you play the shooting, you play a slow army, fast army, you need to be proactive.
Make things happen. No, I like it a lot. Okay, so next question. Ultimate Funk asks, would there be appetite for more differentiation between attacker and defender in missions? Obviously, at the moment, there are some differences, but not really. What about different goals or different scoring for an attacker or a defender in certain missions? Do we think that would maybe lead to more interesting builds or approaches? What do you guys think? You mean asymmetrical, isn't it, already?
Yeah, it's already a bit symmetrical, so there is not that much of a difference, I would say, on that. We didn't take this philosophy into account because everyone could be anything. So yeah, there is, for now, not much of a difference. That was back in the day. There was some army to be way more attacker and some to be way more defender. This is still a bit few from some army, but for now, everyone can attack anything until the good matchup.
We have a question from Paul Bridge, who asks, what weapons would you say are best for Grey Knights Paladins, side cannons or incinerators?
I will say Psy Cannon.
Hey, that's the one Chris uses. So Chris
well
will be
done. That's the right choice, Alex. You are
yeah, you know it. He's winding him up because Chris has been umming and ahhing about which one to use for ages.
Well, so I'm on the side cannon train, and I have been for a very long time. And Paul's like, I don't see how they do anything because they're AP1, and you can be right. I know Jack Harpster is on incinerators. Jack Harpster does prefer incinerators, but he knows nothing. Okay, it's definitely, we're all aboard the side cannon train. Absolutely. My logic is it gives you at least something that can go into tanks and toughness 12 stuff, because otherwise you have zero ability to deal with T12 stuff.
You have the Librarian and the grenade.
Yeah,
this is the best option to deal with T12 thing, and you wish you control one into the Librarian.
Yeah, exactly. And your librarians are blowing themselves up, so
yeah, they will be doing that 100%.
My favorite part of the game is when I play against a Grey Knight and I'll roll a 1 into the Doom Bolt, and he's like, okay, do your mortal wound. how many do you take? I'm like, no, how many do you take?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Great
what a
fun.
mess! What an absolute mess. We've got a fun question from Chris the Glove, who wants us: if you had to design, GW needs you to design a new secondary. You have to come up with a new secondary in the game. What would you invent? What secondary might you create to add to the mission pack right now? That's a tough question.
Something about holding the middle objective and 2 others, like Stranglehold.
Oh,
Connor said.
stop it. That's what Connor said in the chat. No, we don't want Stranglehold back. That was boring.
Bring back Stranglehold.
It's funny because I was thinking about Stranglehold too.
Everyone really misses Stranglehold. I get it. People like having 15 points.
What
This
about
was actually really good.
What about the old Chaos Knight's vow? Or was it Knight's vow where you had to move forward?
I like that. That's fun. Yeah, that's fun. Like a one where it's like a no retreat one. Nothing can fall back from combat, and you get some points. That'd be quite fun.
Actually,
some armies would like that.
I would love to bring back banners and something
Yeah.
with the line putting at the end of your turn. And
I liked banners.
Line is
banners was good. I think the strategic element. I did like the 3 fixed secondaries in 9th. I did enjoy that. I know it had its moments where it was a bit ropey, but I did enjoy it.
I did like without the faction secondaries.
Yeah.
Because
that's fair.
Secondaries was way too hard to equilibrate. I went to from playing Emperor's Children, we could do nothing. So assassination, no prisoners, banner every game, regardless of the number of character or everything like that. To Harley Quinn, when you just don't have to think. And you're gonna score. I don't remember. It was 45.
90. It was a lot.
It was good time. It was a good time.
You just exist. Turn 1, you need to roll a 6 on your psychic test, and you got your points. This is it.
Yep. I played a Sisters of Battle player once who had a load of penitent engines, and they couldn't obviously move through the walls or anything. And I think our game was done in about 45 minutes. The entire thing is I just emptied out a boat, flew the boat over, blocked them, and was like, I score my secondaries now. And they killed 3 models the entire game. It was like French kiss. Play again.
Pete Harlequins. What a time.
Oh, good times.
What a time. Zito in the chat asks, do you think Miracle Dice should be restricted to once per unit per turn/battle round rather than phase?
Miracle Dice are definitely problematic right now. There is one thing to do. It's either a limitation in use, like he said, 1 unit per turn or per phase. But I think the most problematic part of the Miracle Dice is the generation. You generate way too much Miracle Dice so fast in the game. Like turn 2 or turn 3, you can have 10 Miracle Dice, which 4 of them can be a 6. This is way too stupid like that.
It's bonkers.
I think you should eat the sisters in the generation of the dice, because the idea behind this is I prefer to play against the sisters that waste every dice in a turn, even if it's a bad solution and a bad decision, then you play with nothing all game long, rather than a guy who just have to use a dice 1 per phase, because this can be the good solution. I prefer the player to spend when he went, because this is more like a mistake factor than just having 1 dice per phase, because you're gonna have 1 save still in shooting, 1 save still in melee. You're gonna have 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll in shooting and in melee, everything like that. You still have your free advance, because if the opponent want to go crazy and spend 5 dice into the advance, then they have nothing back. Or he want to spend 5 or 6 dice into the save, then he has nothing for the next turn. And I prefer this solution. But way more dice for now. And the Triumph definitely need a huge hit into the next state. I don't know what they're gonna do. They should get rid of the aura of +2 movement, +2 advance. Should do something else. And the automatic 6 is also problematic, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely, I think it's the Miracle Dice dimension is probably the bit that feels the worst at the moment. Rob will attest, I was playing GSC into it, and I'd be firing Ridge Runners, and I roll like 2 shots. I'm like, okay, well now I know I cannot hurt this thing. I literally don't. I do not have enough maths to get through the guaranteed save at this point. So it's like, why am I even doing this? Why am I even turning up?
Yeah, the last game I did with World Eater was playing against the Sisters with a big blob of Seraphim unit with Celestine on it, and I just charged a unit with Karn and 10 Berserker squad, and I just killed 1 Gemini because of armor content. So I'm just no AP on that, and when I went to Karn, he was like, free up. I'm gonna put a 3. I missed the last save. Okay, 1 Gemini die. With my old unit.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's tough. I'm sure it's like top of the firing line. I'm sure it's going to be sorted, but it's Until then, we're dealing with it. Okay, so we then got a question from Ultimate Funk. The guy seems to be very interested in mechanics this week, and he asked, "Is the evolution of uppy downy, so stuff going off the board coming back on, is that the worst thing about 10th edition? When the edition started, there wasn't really any of it. Now there's so much of it, it doesn't feel like you can get rid of it, but it also separates the haves and have-nots. Could they nerf it? Could they remove it?" Ooh.
To be fair, even if I want them to be removed in a kind of way, or heavily limited to, like, for example, Granite, because this is such thematic for Granite, but this is it. For now, I think he's right, and the uppy-duppy thing is just like something when they have no idea what to put into this detachment. So they give the uppy-duppy
100%. I think there's going to be a Death Guard one. I'm just saying it now. We're going to have uppy-downy Death Guard, and then it's all going to go... it will have lost the plot. It will have completely lost the plot at that stage.
Tison's going to have one too because of the cult of duplicity. The cult of duplicity was already a teleport in 9th edition, so it's going to be the uppy-duppy thing. You already know that.
Got 3 units at the end of the turn.
Yeah, and I think, this is a bad mechanic. It should be restricted to even Granite or something like a Calidus. 1 unit in your army can do that, and this is fine. Or even the Thousand Sun Prince, Demon Prince with Wing, that can do that also, and people don't play him because it doesn't interact with Cabal. But this is a different story. And I don't like this mechanic at all, but every edition got a back mechanic. I prefer the uppy-duppy thing than the stack of buff we had in 9th edition into the Skitari brick, for example, where people had like 6 or 7 tokens into their unit, and it could just instant delete everything. Which is more problematic with the uppy-duppy thing is that they seem to automatically come with the 3 inches deep strike. And the 3 inches deep strike is the main part of the uppy-duppy thing. Because you can screen 9, even if it's annoying, you can screen 9. It's okay. You cannot screen within 3 every time. So this is way too hard to play against that. You cannot play against Necron. We pop up the Monolith, Deep Strike within 3, pop a unit within 6 of the Monolith. Then you just cannot screen anything. Even if you play well, you're still gonna be seen in the end, and this is problematic, I think.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's a very interesting mechanic that because it's around so much, I feel like it's lost it's stopped being something interesting and it's just become a bit of a grind for everyone involved. And that's partly they're having this issue with detachments in general, aren't they? They're struggling to find something interesting enough to make different armies feel different. I do feel like different factions felt like there was more difference between them when I first started playing the game than I would say in 10th.
Exactly, and when I see this is problematic is when they gave that in Blood Angel. Why is Blood Angel would like to free and not charge?
It's like, what? Yeah, exactly. And then you're gonna have Inceptors everywhere. Oh god!
And the Inceptor already come within 3, so what is this detachment for?
But no investment, it's horrible.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bonkers. Okay, and then I think that is us for the day. So I think what remains is to say a massive thank you to you, Sacco, for coming on. It's been really, really fun. And you have a little plug, don't you? Because something quite exciting was announced this week. So we might leave it at that and then let you go on your way. So what's new with you in the world of, say, really, really famous 40k teams, Sacco?
Thank you very much for bringing that. Effectively, yes, yesterday I was announced as a new member of the Art of War team, as a player and as a coach. So I'm gonna be doing coaching for now. I'm gonna try to do video too for them because it's a bit difficult from France to USA to do video. So I can maybe do podcast or some showing mechanics for Tyson maybe. Every chaos related army. And mostly I'm gonna be coaching and playing with the Art of War, and I wish I can do some tournament even in the US or outside of the US. So yeah, definitely I'm speaking a lot on the Art of War Discord right now.
Beautiful.
A lot of people, and people have been so cheerful since I've been announced. This is always nice to see that people support you from the first LGT. They are behind you every time. I have the same people every tournament in my private message, wishing me luck, going behind me. This is really the best part of the competitive 40k because people are so cheerful. This is really, really nice.
Yeah, man.
And I'm so grateful to everyone.
So that's the fairy tale, guys. In case you haven't tracked it, we've got gets back into the game in COVID, basically goes and wins LGT to prove his friend wrong, wins the WTC with France a little while later, and now in Art of War. What a run. What an absolute run. Absolutely amazing. Alex, thank you so much for coming on. You've been a delight to talk to. And thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you all again next time. Au revoir.
Bye.
Thank you.